Cody Rhodes, that match with Gunther, that was another good one. It was a good back and forth. There was a lot of times where Gunther showed that he could be champion. He's a great challenger, and he's a former champion, so it shouldn't be too beyond the scope that he'd be champion again. The way that they ended it made it to where, of course, that they're going to have a rematch. It wouldn't make any sense for them not to now, especially with having the foot under the rope like that. The crowd, oh my gosh, the crowd tonight has been spectacular, has been awesome, has been loud, they've been raucous, they've been clapping, they've been behind who they need to be behind, and even though if someone's being a bad person, they do show appreciation for good talent, good skills, and things like that. So again, good crowds really help make good matches. If you were to watch a match with no sound on, would you really get into it? Or you know what I mean? Or is the crowd reacting to it what really helps out and gets you in and gets the hair on the back of your neck standing up? You know what I mean? That's my opinion. Rhea Ripley Jade Cargill match. It was really good. Rhea Ripley was getting her butt kicked. Jade Cargill got a lot of good offense in at the beginning and did a really good job. Looking powerful, looking strong, looking like a champion. And looking like a legit contender that she could even just do it by herself. They had to have Mishin and BFAB come through to help out and distract and this and that and blah blah blah. Even though they messed it up and botched the leg pull or the foot on the rope, but it was a nice touch to do the fair about as fair play to have Charlotte come through, splash both of them, and then put the foot on the rope for Rhea. That was a nice little addition. Nice little tit for tat, as they say, with that women's match. Of course, with having Rhea Ripley winning. Okay, this match, Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi, started off with 4 F5s before they even started to go for a pin. Oh man. And then from there, it was just another F5. They went for the Kimura a couple times. Oba showed his strength, picking up Brock Lesnar, slamming him down to get out of it. Golly. Then in the F5 to the outside of the ring on Oba Femi through the announce table. That was a huge one. But Oba was able to get up from it, get back into the ring. Brock tried to win by countout. He tried to win by any means necessary, it looks like. Oba started to fight back. He went for the fall from grace. Brock countered it right into a 7th F5. It took 7 F5s to put away Oba Femi for the 3 count. And guys, we all knew this wasn't going to be a 5. What did Big E say? This wasn't a 5-star classic. This, is 2 meaty men slapping meat. If you like Haas matches, this was a Haas match. Again, man, we all knew this wasn't going to be a long one. This wasn't no 5-star classic. Okay, this was exactly what it was going to be. 2 meaty men slapping meat, and boy oh boy, did they slap meat. This was 2 hosses just going absolutely berserk on each other. Mainly Brock Lesnar go berserk on Oba to give everything he could to get this win. Put him through the table, but the amount of F5s, it was ridiculous. Oba got some in. Oh yeah, he got some counters in. He got a choke slam. He was able to get some offense in himself. So it wasn't just a squash match, but it was definitely Brock's match to lose, so to speak. And he made sure that he did not lose. He made sure that he would be 1-1 with Oba Femi. And Oba really playing up that hurt arm from that Kimura. What a match. what a match. It was a great match between Sol Ruca and Becky Lynch. I was worried, honestly, that the crowd was not going to be into it because of the prior match of Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. Because of the energy that they put into that, all the yelling, all the stomping and clapping and everything that happened in that match. I was real worried because my energy was low for this match. So I could just imagine like how it would feel to be there in person, you know. But oddly enough, surprisingly enough, the crowd was really behind Sol Ruca and Becky Lynch's match. They were into it. They were cheering. They were interactive with it. The crowd was into it, and again, it made for a great match. It makes for a great match. They kept going back and forth. They had some good back and forth with Sol Ruca and Becky Lynch. They did play up a little bit. They had a lot of pinfalls that were 2 counts. A lot of back and forth when it came to that. It was good to see. It was good to see that Becky Lynch was underestimating Sol Ruca, and that Sol Ruca was giving her all. There were a few botches, mainly on Sol Ruca's side, but hey, it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. There was a few botches, but it is what it is. When you do these high-flying maneuvers, you're not always going to be able to get them perfect. Okay, so we gotta give a little bit of grace, so to speak. It was pretty cool seeing that Becky was getting desperate in the match. She was jaw-jacking Jessica Carr a lot, especially after pins that she felt were, not a 2 count necessarily kind of thing, just healing it up, as they say. So it was nice to see. It was also nice to see that Becky even tried for a Soul Snatcher herself, and then had Sol Ruca reverse that into a manhandle slam that resulted, although, in a 2 count. It was a good match to have right after Brock and Oba, mainly for the high flying aspects of the match. There was a lot of off the top rope from both Becky and Ruca off of the off of the aprons onto the outside. It was a great women's match. It kept everyone engaged. It kept the crowd engaged, even after watching Brock Oba. Like, how do you follow that? But the ladies found a way, and they had intrigue, and they were able to tell a good story, and tell a long story at that. I think the match was a good 20 minutes, or at least close to it, which, it should be. It's a women's title match, intercontinental title match. They should be able to have more than like 3-4 minutes, But it's good to see that Sol Ruca is now champion. She won off of a Soul Snatcher pretty much out of nowhere. Becky was in the corner-ish, and she went for a manhandle slam, and Sol Ruca was able to reverse it and hit a Soul Snatcher out of nowhere for the 1, 2, 3. The crowd went nuts for it. It was real good to see. It was nice to see Becky crying on the mat like a heel, really, really healing it up, because she was healing it up. She was talking a lot of trash, a lot of, pie-faced Sol Ruca, a lot of jaw-jacking with Jessica Carr. Even tried pulling Jessica Carr at one point. Sol Ruca was on the top rope. She tried pulling Jessica Carr into an attack that Sol Ruca was doing, but then that caused Jessica Carr to fall into the ropes and top rope Sol Ruca, which led to a very nice sequence where they had a superplex into a DDT, but the DDT missed, and Sol Ruca was able to turn it around onto Becky. It was a nice little sequence. It was a great, great match. Again, how do you follow Oba versus Brock Lesnar? And well, ladies and gentlemen, these ladies found a way and did it with style and grace. You can't be mad at it. I'm very, very happy with not only the match itself, but the outcome of the match. It really helps to have the new guys come in and get the spotlight. Again, you can't have a future if the now is in the future, and in the forever, then the now, the forever. You know, you can't have, the forever can never get to the now if the now just stays here. You know what I mean? You gotta start pushing these young athletes, the young talent, because you gotta start making them superstars. You gotta keep moving forward. We have to have, yes, of course we have to have the veterans, but we have to have the new breed come in. Definitely. So I'm glad that Sol Ruca has the title. It's a good spot for her to be in. She's a high flyer, and it'll create for really interesting matches coming soon. All right, Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. Tribal combat. Wow, it started off slow. It started off weirdly because they were using like technical moves and stuff. A lot of headlocks, everything like that. But then they started getting into it, and it was a nice back and forth. They showed again Jacob Fatu being you know, the bulldozer, being the tank, being the indestructible force that he is. But Roman Reigns was coming through, and he was getting his licks in also. It was getting to a point where Roman Reigns was actually getting desperate and was doing things a little out of character. I would say a little bit more heel-like, so to speak. The crowd's been amazing all night. The crowd was amazing for this match too, like they have been with all the other matches. And it just helps. Again, it helps out. They were going for both of them. They were either serenading Roman Reigns with the Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, or they were serenading Jacob Fatu with the ole, 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 Fatu. So it was fun. It was a great main event. It was the first time I got to watch Tribal Combat, which I guess there were other ones, so maybe, I don't know. But there's just more on the line, I guess, when it's Tribal Combat. It was just a no DQ match to me. There was some good back and forth. They really played up, you know, Roman Reigns using something to slam the hand, the tongue and death grip. You know, and making it to where Jacob Fatu can't use the tongue and death grip. And they played that up, I think, twice on that one. You know, and they had a lot of good spots. Roman Reigns had to take off all the turnbuckles and do a lot of slamming the head into the turnbuckles. They had the good spot where there was a spear, but from Fatu to Roman Reigns. I thought that was going to be it. I thought that was the end of the match, but no, it wasn't. The end of the match was a spear through the table from Roman Reigns onto Jacob Fatu, and then a running double ropes spear, which ended the match. Another great match, can't complain. There was no interferences, so we can't even complain about that. We can't complain that it wasn't overbooked, as you know, someone would complain and say. It was really, really good. They played up to the crowd a lot. There was a lot of crowd. There was a lot of they call it gaga. Where they kind of just, you know, have that free space and free air for the crowd to sing and talk and give their reactions. So there was a lot of gaga in this match. Let's be honest. But for a heavyweight championship match for Tribal Combat, it was pretty good. It was really good. I would say for this pay-per-view, just like with Backlash, they really have something with this 5-match thing. They can produce the heck out of these 5 matches, really have a good focus on the matches, and really be able to put on a good show with just 5 matches. So I'm giving this one a 4.5. Just like with Backlash, it was great. It was a great way to tell stories. All the matches tonight told stories. All the matches had endings to these stories that made sense. Granted, I'm not happy about Jacob Fatu, but I think they're starting a storyline where it's gonna be Roman Reigns and Usos versus the MFTs, and they're fighting over who gets to have Jacob Fatu as part of their faction, so to speak. So that'll set that up. the Becky Lynch, storyline with Jessica Carr and Sol Ruka. That was going good. Let's see here. Gunther has, he's definitely going to get another title shot. Absolutely. Because he had the foot under the ropes. Jade Cargill might be able to talk her way into another championship match. Because they had Charlotte, interfere and stuff like that. But they also had B-Fab and Misha, so I don't know about that one. But with the women's Intercontinental, and then what was the other? Oh, what was the third match? Oh my gosh! So we had Cody. Oh my gosh! What was matches? Women's Brock and Oba. Oh my! How did I forget that one? Holy crap! We had Brock and Oba. That was two meaty men slapping meat. Oh my gosh! That took the energy out of me. So I was yawning all night after that one. How could I forget that one? Because that match was exactly what that match needed to be. Just two meaty men slapping meat. And had Brock winning, which I think, again, that's going to lead to a match at SummerSlam. So, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you guys can hit that like button, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff, I would greatly appreciate it. Bye-bye.